the health inspector's hands were shaking as he opened the freezer. Behind him, Mama Mary Jane, the most beloved restaurant owner in all of Warri, stood frozen, sweat pouring down her face. What he pulled out would make the entire city vomit. But here's the insane part. For 8 years, everyone from the governor to street hawkers ate at Mary Jane's kitchen. They called her pepper soup life-changing, her suya the best in Delta State. Politicians held meetings there. Weddings ordered catering from her. They had no idea what they were really eating. And the person who finally exposed her, the one person she trusted most. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to where this nightmare began. Let me take you back to 2016, Warri, Delta State. Mary Jane wasn't always Mama Mary Jane, the queen of pepper soup and suya. 8 years ago, she was just another struggling single mother selling food from a wooden kiosk on Efferin Road. Her pepper soup was good, not great, just good. She had regular customers, Okpos, the taxi driver, Ovi, the mechanic from down the street, a few market women. They came because her prices were fair and her smile was warm. But Mary Jane wanted more. She watched other food sellers prosper. She watched Mama Caro's restaurant across the street with 3 locations now. She watched young girls half her age opening fancy spots on Instagram with generators and big freezers. God, Mary Jane whispered one night, counting the small change from her day's sales. Show me a way, any way to succeed. And the next morning, something appeared at her kiosk, something that would change everything and curse her forever. It was a regular Monday morning. Mary Jane arrived at her kiosk at 5 a.m. like always. But there was a man waiting, tall, thin, dark sunglasses even though the sun wasn't up yet. He wore a long black coat that looked too hot for Warri weather. "Mama Mary Jane?" His voice was smooth, like oil on water. "Yes? Do you want to order food?" The man smiled. No, he showed his teeth. "I want to make you an offer, a business proposition." He placed a small cooler on her counter. Inside this cooler is meat, special meat. If you cook with this, your customers will never forget the taste. They will crave your food. They will come back again and again, bringing friends, bringing family. You will be rich beyond your dreams. Mary Jane's heart started beating faster. What kind of meat? Does it matter? The man's smile grew wider. It's fresh, it's clean, it tastes like the best beef you've ever had, and I'll supply you every week. All I ask for is 30% of your profits. But where does it come from? The man's smile disappeared. Questions kill blessings, Mama Mary Jane. Do you want to succeed, or do you want to stay small forever? Mary Jane looked at the cooler, then at her tiny kiosk, then at Mama Caro's big restaurant across the street with the queue of customers. How much meat is in there? Enough for 1 week. Use it. See what happens. If you're not satisfied, we never speak again. He walked away into the morning darkness before Mary Jane could ask anything else. She opened the cooler. The meat looked perfect, smelled perfect, like premium beef. But something about it made her skin crawl, something she couldn't explain, something she should have listened to. That first day, Mary Jane used the strange meat in her pepper soup. She told herself she'd just try it once, just to see. The moment the soup started cooking, something changed. The aroma, it filled the entire street. People stopped walking. Market women turned their heads. Even dogs came sniffing around. Okpos, the taxi driver, was her first customer that morning. "Ah, Mama Mary Jane, what are you cooking? This smell is different, oh? Give me 1 big bowl. I must taste this thing." When Okpos took the first spoonful, his eyes rolled back. "Jesus Christ! Mama, what did you do? This is the best pepper soup I've ever eaten in my life." By noon, her kiosk was packed, people she'd never seen before. By evening, she'd sold everything. Everything. Her small cooler of the strange meat was finished. The next morning, the man in the black coat was back. Well? Mary Jane's hand was shaking as she handed him the money. I sold everything. They want more. The man smiled that terrible smile. Good, very good. Here's next week's supply. Remember, no questions. Just cook, just sell, just prosper. Mary Jane took the new cooler, and this time she didn't even ask what was inside, because deep down she didn't want to know. Year 1, Mary Jane moved from her wooden kiosk to a small shop. Year 2, Mary Jane's kitchen was born. 10 tables, a real generator, a big freezer. Year 3, she had 5 employees now. Ovi, her old mechanic friend, quit his job to work as her manager. Year 4, first branch in Efferin. Politicians started coming. The local government chairman ate there every
Year 5, catering contracts, weddings, parties, corporate events. Year 6, second branch in Warri, Maine. Instagram page with 50,000 followers. Year 7, she was buying land, building a house. Her children were in private school. Year 8, Mary Jane's kitchen was the restaurant in Warri. Celebrities visited, food bloggers wrote articles. Best pepper soup in Delta State. Every blog said so. But every Monday morning at 5 a.m., the man in the black coat came. Always the same cooler, always the same smile, always the same warning. No questions, Mama Mary Jane, no questions. And Mary Jane never asked, because asking meant facing the truth, and the truth was too terrible to speak out loud. But someone else was starting to ask questions, someone close to home. Ovi had been Mary Jane's manager for 6 years. He'd watched the business grow from nothing. He was loyal, trusted, like family. But Ovi was also observant. "Mama, where do you get your meat from?" he asked one morning, watching her unpack the weekly cooler. "Special supplier," Mary Jane said quickly, not meeting her eyes. "But which supplier? Because I've been trying to find the same quality for the new branch, and nobody has meat like this. It's a private arrangement." "Can I meet this supplier? We need more for catering orders." "No," Mary Jane snapped, then softer, "No, Ovi, this supplier only deals with me directly. It's a special arrangement." Ovi watched her carefully. "Mama, is everything okay? You seem stressed." She forced a smile. "I'm fine, Ovi. Just business wahala, don't worry." But Ovi did worry. He started noticing things. The meat came every Monday at 5 a.m., always in that same cooler. Mama Mary Jane always unpacked it alone in the back freezer and told everyone to stay out. The meat had no label, no packaging, just meat. And strangest of all, it never spoiled. Even after a week in the freezer, it looked and smelled fresh. One Sunday night, Ovi made a decision. Tomorrow morning, he would arrive at 4:30 a.m., before Mama Mary Jane, before the mysterious supplier. He would finally see the truth. Monday, December 2nd, 2024, 4:30 a.m. Ovi parked his car down the street from Mary Jane's restaurant. The restaurant was dark. He waited. At exactly 5:55 a.m., a long black car pulled up. No license plate. The thin man in the black coat got out, carrying the cooler, but he didn't go to the restaurant entrance. He went around back to the service door. Ovi's heart was pounding. He quietly followed. The man knocked 3 times. The back door opened. Mama Mary Jane stood there in the darkness. "You're early," the man said. "I couldn't sleep," Mama Mary Jane whispered. "Guilt, Mama Mary Jane?" The man's laugh was cold. "After 8 years? Too late for guilt now. Every night I see their faces, all those people eating." "Eating what, Mama Mary Jane? Say it." Silence. "You can't even say it, can you?" The man set down the cooler. "But you'll keep cooking it. You'll keep serving it, because you're addicted to the money, the success, the respect."
Ovi, hidden behind a dumpster, couldn't hear everything, but he heard enough. He watched the man leave, watched Mama Mary Jane carry the cooler inside. He waited 5 minutes, then he used his key to enter through the front. The restaurant was quiet. He could hear Mama Mary Jane in the cold room, unpacking the cooler. Ovi moved quietly toward the kitchen. His phone was out, recording. What he was about to see would make him scream, would make him drop his phone, would make him wish he'd never asked questions. Ovi reached the cold room. Through the small window in the door, he could see Mama Mary Jane. She was unpacking the cooler, pulling out what looked like meat. But as Ovi watched closer, his blood ran cold. The shape, the size, the color. That wasn't beef, that wasn't goat, that wasn't any animal he'd ever seen in a butcher shop. The pieces were too human-sized, human-shaped. His mind started racing. All those years of special meat, all those customers raving about the taste, all those awards for best protein in Delta State. "Oh, God," Ovi whispered. "Oh, God, no!" His phone slipped from his shaking hand and clattered on the tile floor. The cold room door burst open. Mama Mary Jane stood there, her eyes wide with terror. "Ovi, you weren't supposed to see. What is that?" Ovi screamed, pointing at the meat. "What have you been feeding us?" Mary Jane's face crumpled. She collapsed to her knees. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was desperate. He said it was special meat. He said it was blessed. He said—" "What is it?" Mary Jane looked up at him with tears streaming down her face. "Bushmeat," she whispered. "Protected species, endangered animals, gorillas, chimpanzees. I didn't ask questions because I didn't want to know, but I knew, Ovi. Deep down, I always knew." The room spun around Ovi. 8 years of serving protected, possibly diseased, illegal meat to thousands of people? The governor? Families? Children? Wedding guests? "I'm calling the police," Ovi said, picking up his phone. "Please," Mary Jane begged. "Please, Ovi, think about my children, my employees. Everything will be destroyed." "Everything should be destroyed," Ovi shouted. "You've been poisoning people for 8 years." But before Ovi could dial, the back door opened. The man in the black coat was back, and he wasn't alone. "Going somewhere, Ovi?" The man's voice was cold. Behind him stood 2 large men. One was holding— Ovi's mind couldn't process it. Fresh supplies. Who are you people?" "We're businessmen, Ovi, just like you, just like Mama Mary Jane. We provide a product, she provides the distribution. Simple." "That's not business. That's illegal," the man smiled. "Yes, immoral, perhaps, but profitable? Absolutely." Ovi's phone was shaking in his hand. The man noticed. "Don't do anything stupid, Ovi. Think carefully. You're holding a phone with evidence. We're holding— well, let's just say we have ways of making problems disappear." Mary Jane was weeping on the floor. "Please, just let him go. He won't tell anyone. Right, Ovi? Right?" Ovi looked at his boss, his friend, the woman who gave him a job when no one else would. Then he looked at the meat. He thought about Akpos, the taxi driver, eating that first bowl of soup 8 years ago. All the customers, all the children, all the families. "I'm sorry, Mama," Ovi said quietly, "but I have to do this." He hit send. The video he'd been recording, all of it, uploaded to his social media, to WhatsApp groups, to everyone. Within seconds, his phone started ringing, messages flooding in. The man in the black coat's face twisted with rage. "You fool! Do you know what you've just done?" But before anyone could move, they heard it. Sirens, multiple sirens. Someone had already seen the video. Someone had already called the authorities, and they were coming fast. The next hours were chaos. Police surrounded Mary Jane's kitchen. Health inspectors arrived. Media vans, angry customers, former employees. Everyone came. They opened the freezers, all of them. What they found made even the hardened police officers sick.
illegal bushmeat, endangered species, some pieces in such condition that diseases were visible. Mary Jane was arrested immediately. The man in the black coat and his associates tried to run, but were caught. By noon, the story was everywhere. National news, international news. Warri restaurant served protected animals for 8 years. Governor ate illegal bushmeat at famous restaurant. Thousands possibly exposed to diseases from endangered species. The health department issued emergency warnings. Former customers rushed to hospitals for testing. Weddings that had used Mary Jane's catering were contacted.
Akpos, the taxi driver who'd been eating there since day one, couldn't stop vomiting when he heard the news. "I told everyone about that place. I brought my family there. My children ate that meat." Mama Caro, the rival restaurant owner, was interviewed on TV. "I always wondered how she made her food taste so special. I thought it was just skill. I never imagined." The local priest called for prayers and fasting to cleanse the community. Ovi sat outside the police station, his head in his hands. A reporter approached. "You're the one who exposed her. How do you feel?" "She was like family to me," Ovi said quietly. "But what she was doing, I couldn't let it continue. All those people, all those children." "Do you regret it?" Ovi looked up. "I regret that I didn't find out sooner." In the holding cell, Mary Jane finally told her full story to the investigators. "It started with desperation," she said, her voice hollow. "I was poor, struggling. When that man offered me the meat, I didn't ask questions because I didn't want to know the answers." "You knew it was illegal?" I suspected. The way it was delivered, the secrecy, the fact that it never spoiled. But I told myself it was just beef from some special farm. I needed to believe that." "For 8 years?" Mary Jane started crying again. "Each year I told myself I would stop. Next year, next year. But then there was my children's school fees, the second branch, the house I was building, the respect people showed me. How could I give that up?" "So you chose money over people's health." "I chose to survive," Mary Jane shouted. "You don't understand what it's like to be poor in this country, to watch your children go hungry, to see other people prosper while you struggle." The investigator closed his notebook. "Plenty of people are poor, Mama Mary Jane. They don't all poison their community." The trial was swift and public. Mary Jane pleaded guilty to multiple charges: selling endangered species meat, operating without proper health permits, endangering public health, criminal wildlife trafficking, and criminal conspiracy. The man in the black coat and his network were charged with larger crimes. They'd been supplying multiple restaurants across 3 states. Mary Jane's sentence: 15 years in prison, heavy fines, her properties seized to compensate victims. Her children were taken in by relatives, their faces hidden from cameras, their lives destroyed by their mother's choices. All 3 branches of Mary Jane's kitchen were demolished, the land declared contaminated. The governor who'd eaten there held a press conference. "This is a wake-up call for Delta State. We must inspect our restaurants, verify our food sources, protect our people." New laws were passed: surprise health inspections, mandatory supplier documentation, heavy penalties for violations. Akpos, the taxi driver, started a support group for former customers dealing with trauma and health complications. Ovi became an advocate for restaurant transparency. He started a WhatsApp channel reviewing food spots with actual supplier information. 1 year later, Ovi stood outside what used to be Mary Jane's kitchen. The space was empty now. A reminder. A young reporter approached him. "You're the whistleblower. How has your life changed?" Ovi smiled sadly. "Some people call me a hero. Some call me a traitor. I lost my job, I lost a friend, but I sleep at night now. Do you ever regret it? Ovi looked up. Every day I think about Mama Mary Jane. She wasn't evil, she was desperate, but desperation doesn't justify what she did. Have you spoken to her? Once, in prison. She apologized, said she thinks about all those people every night, all those families she fed her poison to. What did you tell her? I told her that sorry doesn't fix everything, but it's a start. The reporter turned to the camera. This is a story about ambition, desperation, and the price of success built on lies. Mary Jane wanted to succeed. She wanted to provide for her family, but she chose a path that destroyed everything, including herself. Ovi added, "There's an old saying, the pot that cooks with cursed meat will eventually boil over. Mama Mary Jane cooked with cursed meat for 8 years, and when the pot finally boiled over, it burned everyone." In her cell, Mary Jane sat alone. No more restaurants, no more fame, no more customers calling her the best chef in Warri. Just silence and regret. She wrote letters to her children, letters they might read someday, letters trying to explain the unexplainable. I thought I was feeding you, but I was destroying us all. Ovi now runs workshops for restaurant owners, how to run an honest food business. At every workshop, he tells Mary Jane's story, shows the videos, explains the consequences. Success at any cost is too costly. In Warri, Mary Jane's kitchen became a cautionary tale told to children. Beware of food that tastes too good to be true. Ask questions, demand transparency, because what you don't know can hurt you. The empty lot where the restaurant stood became a community garden. They grow vegetables there now. Clean food, honest food, food you can trust. The mysterious chef thought she'd found the secret to success, but the only secret was deception. She fed thousands of people for 8 years, and for 8 years they never knew what they were really eating, until one honest man decided that the truth, no matter how terrible, was better than comfortable lies. Moral: desperation can lead us down dark paths, but there is never a justification for poisoning others for profit. True success comes from honest work, even when it's harder, even when it's slower, because shortcuts built on lies and harm will eventually destroy everything and everyone involved. The question isn't, can I get away with it? The question is, can I sleep at night knowing what I've done? Mama Mary Jane found out the answer too late. If this story made you think twice about where your food comes from, hit that subscribe button. Next week, I'm bringing you an even darker tale, the village masquerade with a secret that killed everyone who knew it. You don't want to miss it. And remember, always ask questions about your food. Always know your source. Your life might depend on it. Stay safe, eat smart, cook clean.